Sometimes you can use a company's product or service and be able to quickly drum up interesting research. Sometimes you have to go out and just soak in the experience yourself. There's nothing like holding a product in your hands and feeling the texture. Notice how it feels. Is it heavy? Is it light? What is the packaging like? Is it rough? Is it smooth? Let's say we have a client that sells body wash. What other body wash bottles, what do they look like? Standing back in an aisle, which one catches my eye first? What flavors are they using? Scents? Am I seeing a theme among other bottle shapes? Do they use photos of the flavor or scent? If so, how big are those photos in relation to the rest of the bottle? How about, for example, a clothing brand? What does the fabric feel like? How do they place the logo on the tag? What colors do they use? Do they use recycled tags? Plastic? Are the tags high gloss? How big is the company name on the labels or the tags? This can also be applied to researching companies that are purely online. For example, a client that is creating a new streaming service that caters to dog lovers. I may browse one of the bigger, more successful video streaming services like Netflix. How's the experience browsing and watching videos there? What does the logo look like on my phone? How does it compare to the experience streaming on TV? These give us clues to types of branded items we may need to produce for our client. I may also want to research websites that cater to dog lovers to see how they presented their colors, logo, and brand elements. Combined together, we can find a way to create something blended and unique to our client. Since our sushi restaurant and delivery service will eventually be a physical store or location, let's research by visiting several restaurants to see how they handled their brand design and visuals. And I'm going to enjoy this process. One of the first things I like to notice is the restaurant signage. Can I easily read it from the street? Do I know what type of store or restaurant it is just by looking at their signage? What type of other visual aids like posters, wall signage are there on the outside of the store? What type of physical materials do they use for their interior design? Wood, bamboo, steel, concrete? Is it a dark or a light facade? When I walk in, what is the vibe I get from the restaurant? This one, for example, had some beautiful architecture that really became a neat centerpiece. This one also had an online-only menu with no physical menus present. I noticed that most Asian restaurants had fairly complex menus, and our client will have a much more simple menu, so I'm keeping track of all these different observations. This one had a really neat full-color chopstick wrapper with a logo and some social media information on it. Most to-go or takeaway bags I received when I ordered sushi online were the standard white plastic bags with no branded visuals on there. So I'm starting to see a really neat opportunity to add something to our delivery bags to make our experience more visually exciting. I am also seeing the importance of a digital, fully online menu as well, as most places were switching to a touchless menu system. Another sushi restaurant had a very unique concept that I visited. They're called Cowfish Burger, and funny enough, they serve both sushi and hamburgers. This is quite the opposite of our client, who wanted to just focus on sushi and keeping it pure and authentic. The dish I got was a bento box with sushi and other familiar items, but with a big burger in the center. It was odd, but it was an interesting experience, and it was good to check out what others might be looking at when they Google nearby sushi places. Once again, I'm noticing the chopsticks had a wrapper to them, and it was an online menu only as well at this restaurant, so I'm jotting down some of these notes I'm observing in both of these places in my notebook. That made me land on my final restaurant to visit. It's a sushi place called Baku. It seemed like they took their sushi much more serious, and it seems to have a similar idea as our client. They had a wonderful, slick-looking menu with reflective, simple logo on the top. The inside pages, the menu used a special paper that had a really glossy, pearlescent quality to it. It was very stunning and very nice. The price point was higher, just like our client, but it wasn't out of this world high. I'm really taking notes at this place. Their logo seems almost contemporary with a stretched out look to their lettering, and it gives it a very unique look from the road. I would not know it was a sushi place by just looking at the sign, though, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. It could be a disadvantage. Our client has the name sushi in the name, so I feel like we're not going to have that problem. The sign had very interesting typography presentation with that super long, stretched out, condensed looking custom typeface. The red is striking from the sign, and I liked how the black and red stood out. The great thing about Googling these restaurants is Google remembers your searches, and it tries to retarget you with online ads. This means we'll get to study some of our competitors' restaurant ads or what people are looking for when they're looking for sushi. Are they enticing? Do they work? What could I do different to make mine more appealing and focus on our unique approach to the authentic, fresh tasting fish? I'm already starting to think about what type of photos would match our unique concept as well. So let's do another competitive research example. Let's say we have a client that has an expensive restaurant that caters mostly to professionals that want to have a nice place to meet for business lunches. I'm going to visit similar restaurant types and take notes. I happen to visit this one place for lunch and has the most stunning atmosphere. I noticed their menu design, the typography and the layout of it. They also have really amazing cookies. Overall, the food matched the brand design, and I come away with a great perspective of what it might be like at my client's restaurant. This helps me put ideas together in my brainstorming process. Remember, ideas and concepts are never developed at random. These little nuggets of information we gather through this research project process will all come together to form wonderful ideas with ease later on.